So I've been thinking about ways for some time. How do I expand entrepreneurial thinking? How do I add more rocket fuel into college students where they can hopefully change their thinking and potentially change the trajectory of their life? And I tried lots of things and lots of them failed. I have more failures than I have successes in my life. But that's the point. You learn from your failures. You learn from doing and trying, not just saying I'm going to do this or keep procrastinating. So with that, when the pandemic hit, I knew right away that small businesses were going to be really, really impacted in potentially a detrimental way because they don't have money. They're living hand to mouth. And when the shutdown happened, revenue stopped coming into their pizza shop, their yoga studio, their gym, their women's boutique clothing store, the taco place, what have you, right? And many of you, a lot of these small local businesses are the fabric of our community. And all those businesses were also, guess what? They were started by entrepreneurs. They were started by people that wanted to do something quite unique and something unique and different. So what I started thinking about was, one, college students are incredibly digitally savvy. You guys all grew up online. You grew up on mobile computing, and you're incredibly bright, and you have a very high aptitude to learn. Number two, I started following the advent of no-code software tools. And right now, this is attracting tons of venture capital money, tons. And I said, boy, these tools are really powerful. What do these small businesses, I live in Santa Cruz, I love to surf, we have a really great close-knit community here. I love my local bookshop, I love my local little men's surf shop, and these were all under existential threat. As a matter of fact, the problem is actually more of a humanitarian crisis because there are 33 million small businesses in the US alone. They employ 2/3 of all US workers. And these small businesses drive 44% of our GDP, our gross domestic product. On top of that, there are 11 million people unemployed and 22 million people underemployed. And the job market is competitive. So when you're getting out of college, it's going to be a competitive job market. How do you best prepare yourself to be marketable in a competitive job market, right? So those are the types of things that I was thinking about. Small businesses need help. College students have this incredible raw material. So I called up my crazy friend who teaches at UC Santa Cruz, Nada. I said, I have this crazy idea. Let's build a class. And what we're going to do is we're going to teach students basically customer discovery. We're going to teach them how to write a lightweight proposal and how to do project management. The second part of the curriculum is then we're going to basically teach them how to use a select set of no-code software tools that will help businesses get online, help them get virtual so they can start generating revenue and acquire new customers. So we focused in 3 core areas: how to build websites. We work with 2 major platforms, Wix and Squarespace. Those sites, in addition to not having to write a line of code, they also are very rich. There's lots of third-party developers that have wrote web plugins that extend the functionality of those platforms. Again, that require no code. We also need to help businesses actually start generating revenue online. So we teach Shopify, how to build an Amazon store, Stripe and Square. So we develop e-commerce solutions for small businesses. And then number 3, what we do is we also know customers, small businesses need to acquire customers, right? So we teach digital marketing. We teach basic SEO, search engine optimization, SEM, search engine marketing. The curriculum includes how to do an email marketing campaign and how to do a social media marketing campaign. So it's phase 1 is the methodology. Phase 2 is the learning the tools. And then phase 3 is we work and I'm able to source literally unlimited amounts of small business projects that are either kind of local businesses that you'd recognize, or we also work with small nonprofits. And we work with small impact startups. So what you get to do then is then you apply the learnings that you learned in the course, and then you actually start working with small businesses. You work directly with the founder or the CEO and helping them understand what they're trying to do, understand the scope of the project, and then actually work with, usually it's a team of 2 to 3 to 4 students. These are usually 3 to 4 month engagements, and you actually construct the solution for them. And what we're designed to do is then we really are that first step, because these businesses, they're not technically savvy. They know how to run their yogurt shop. They don't know anything about how to build a website or how to start generating revenue online. That's where they need help. 100,000 businesses have already shut down permanently in the US alone. So what you get to do is number one, for those that are involved in a program, you get to put GetVirtual as an internship on your resume. What do employers look for? They look for not only what you've done academically, but like, what have you done aside from that? Like they look for initiative. Like, are you a self-starter? Are you a go-getter? What have you accomplished in your life? So the fact that you've got a quality internship, and then you get to highlight the work that you've done. I built this website, here's the link. I built this e-commerce solution, here's the link. I built this digital marketing campaign, here are the results of that campaign. So you're acquiring real world business experience that is going to look favorably with a potential employer. On top of that, you're giving back. These businesses are in desperate need. So you have this opportunity to learn and give back and do something really meaningful in your life and in your career. And then the last piece is that, so the program right now, we're operating on 5 colleges, and there are of the 100 students that have either gone through or are going through the program right now. And our community runs on Discord. So it's a very vibrant community. And we also are cross-pollinating students together. So students are working from different colleges on these projects. They're sharing information, they're sharing knowledge. On top of that, I love to do, I run a monthly Spirit of Entrepreneurship symposium series where I bring in incredible speakers. So it's really just all about teaching entrepreneurship and connecting with this creative spirit and talent that we all have. So the student, in addition to that, gets college credit. So part of the challenge is that colleges, I don't know if you're aware of it, but they are massively fraught with red tape. Getting anything done through an administrator or a faculty member is like an act of God. Like, it is freaking horrible. So we're working to circumvent that. And I have a plan that I'm working on to do that. So what we have are, so we're on UC Santa Cruz, University of California, Santa Cruz. We're at CSU Monterey Bay. We're at Santa Clara University. We're at Southern Connecticut State University in New Haven, and we're at San Jose State. And what we do is we create what are called chapters. And a set of students volunteer because they want to be chapter leaders. And then they work to do what's happening on today's call, see if students are interested in the program. Now, there's a couple ways that, if you're interested, I think we could create the program at Florida International. Number one is we could maybe find a professor that likes the program and would like to basically take an existing course and turn it into GetVirtual, because we built all the curriculum. The curriculum is free. It can either be instructor-led or you can go through a self-paced study program. If we can't find an instructor to do the program, then the other to actually create the course, the other option is maybe we find an instructor that agrees to allow it to be an independent study program. So where you're getting the full credit. Are you guys on a semester or a quarter program?
Semesters.
Semester. Okay, cool. So from a semester perspective, and maybe, we might be too late, we might not, I don't know. Maybe we could start with a summer course or a fall program. But for those that are interested, we could, we run boot camps. So if you felt like dabbling and kind of volunteering and just getting used to it, I'd love for any that wants to get on our Discord to learn more. I'll post a link on the chat shortly. And then, so well, my interest though is that for those students that are interested, is to figure out a ways to ensure that you get college credit. So one is like a teacher goes, yeah, I love it, I'm gonna teach it. 2, well, we don't have the faculty do that, but I'll sponsor it as an independent or field study program because the program is very strong and powerful, as you probably can guess. Or 3, the other vehicle that I have is that through the University of California, Santa Cruz, you could sign up, take the course with them, and then transfer the credits to your university. So those are the programs that are available. Let me just quickly run through, just show you some quick slides. I kind of explained most of it, then I'll open it up for some questions. Hold on one second. So you can kind of get a visual for this thing. You guys see my screen?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, cool. So as I said, it's a entrepreneurship platform. Students, we developed a college course. Students learn no-code tools in web development, e-commerce, digital marketing. I'll send you guys this deck too. And then students work with small businesses. Students get college credit, and the businesses get volunteer interns. So it looks like this on a macro level. So it's either instructor-led or student self-paced study. The curriculum is all sitting on a Google Drive. It's all accessible. We've got sample templates for proposals, customer discovery, questionnaire, everything that you need is all there. Then students start working and actually apply what they've learned working with these small businesses. We also offer certifications and certificates, and then you get to join a really cool rad community that looks like this. So here's our Discord community here. We've got several channels set up. It's incredibly active, 100 students on here. And most of you are probably familiar with Discord, so that's what that does. And then the student benefits are you get college credit and certification, you get to put an internship on your resume, you get to learn real practical workplace skills that businesses actually value. You get to join a movement, and you get to give back to your communities. What businesses get, they get well-trained students. Most are upper class and honor students. Students are online and mobile computing and social media savvy by nature. We use best of breed commercial grade software solutions that are really easy to maintain, because once you finish the project, we turn it over to the business owner. You teach them how to use it so that we teach them how to fish. And then of course, students get to give back to small businesses. Our mission's to inspire and cultivate an altruistic entrepreneurial spirit, prepare students for meaningful and successful careers while giving back to small businesses. And the last slide is, here are our stats. So we've had 100 plus students in 5 colleges. We've completed 70 projects. We have 29 in development. And then there are another 20 that are in the interview stage. So what we've been able to do is we also have some tools that we use. We use Discord to communicate all internally. And then there's this really cool platform called ClickUp. They just raised $100 million. They have a $1 billion valuation. And it's a really rich, both kind of workflow system you can use for CRM or for project management. So let me just show you what that looks like. I've got to click up here. Let's see. Click up. Okay, so let me go to the board here. So what our workflow looks like. You guys can see the screen, right?
Yep, we see it.
Okay, so the workflow is, so businesses come, they sign up on the website. So these are all the recent businesses that have signed up. And then what happens is students volunteer to want to do the intakes. This is where you learn customer discovery. We have a whole questionnaire. You'll learn how to do that, interact directly with the business owner. And once the student agrees to do that, then they email the client, and then the project then moves into the project's been emailed, the intake's been scheduled, the intake's been completed. Then at that point, if we don't have enough resources, we waitlist the product. If for some reason the business never gets back to us, we put it in the no response status. Sometimes businesses ask us to do custom programming and that type of stuff. We don't do any of that, or create a custom video. Then once we accept the project, a student agrees to be the project manager. They schedule what's called a kickoff meeting, where we've got another tool that can define the scope of the project, what has to be done. We have tons of sample proposal templates. And then once the kickoff then scheduled, the kickoff, we have that meeting. The whole program's online. Students work online. They work with business owners online. And then once you define the kickoff and the scope's been defined, a proposal gets sent, a proposal gets accepted, and then development starts. And sometimes you're waiting on the customer to give you either photos or some video. And if they're not getting back to us, then the project gets stalled. Sometimes the project gets canceled, and then development gets completed. The project gets handed off to the customer. We send out a customer satisfaction survey monkey. We share that with you. And then the project gets launched. So this actually isn't quite up there. This should be 70. We're at 70 right now today. So it's a really cool, robust set of tools that we have and process to actually manage it. And then, of course, a lot of the cool magic is just interacting with like-minded students like you from around the world. So we're talking to Tulsa University. I'm talking to a couple colleges in South Africa, one in Madrid. And then the other, the last kind of core value is that, one of the things that has, I went to Southern Connecticut State. I didn't go to Stanford. I would never get in there as a student. But it has always troubled me that, Stanford and Ivy League students are so advantaged when they go to the workplace because they have a massive alumni network, and there's so many large corporations that are recruiting on that campus every single day. And so a lot of students go to McKinsey, which is a very elite consulting company, and these students learn they work directly with these businesses, but Fortune 500, Fortune 100 businesses. But believe it or not, a small business has the same issues that a Mark Benioff, who is the founder of Salesforce, or Stuart Butterfield, the founder of Slack, have, right? You have to define a product or service that people want. You have to know how to price that product. You have to know how to deliver competitive differentiation. You have to hire people. You have to train people. You have to lead people. You have to make money. Those are all things that any entrepreneur has got to be able to do. So even though they're on a smaller scale, when you sit with that business, you learn all about that business. They tell you how the company was founded, who their customers are, what they sell, who they sell it to, who their competitors are. So it's kind of a mini business school with each new business. Like, I've participated on a lot of these and learned how a women's boutique clothing store, what their buying seasons are, who they buy from, what their supply chain looks like. So you're going to learn a ton of stuff just working with these small business entrepreneurs as you engage with the program. So anyway, I get obviously super excited. Let me pause there. I'm sure many have lots of questions, but so let me stop there and tackle any questions that you have and kind of get your initial reaction.
So far, I wanted to ask quickly if you could send a Discord link.
Yes, give me 1 second. I'll do that right now. Hold on. Let me.
This actually reminds me of how a lot of our UPE program is run. We're running these projects, and it's actually really exciting for me anyway, because it's something that we kind of already do for Microsoft. I think it is for Spark Dev, with the underlying Dream in Green and stuff like that. So I think this is very in line with what a lot of us is already interested in. So this is awesome.
I love it. Hold on a second. Invite people. Set this link never to expire. Okay, so here's the Discord link. And then for those that want to email me, email. And there's, like I said, there's a ton of stuff that we're adding to the platform. As I said, I kind of hijacked one of my Stanford classes. It's called Entrepreneur Thought Leaders. I hold a monthly symposium series where we bring really cool entrepreneurs. They share their story. You get to ask questions. We'll be publishing content. So there's just a lot of really, really rich stuff that's designed to supplement your learning at your home school, your home institution.
Just a quick question. So the program that you mentioned, in what way is it again that you said that students can learn about entrepreneurship and about running businesses and all that stuff?
So that is, so one, there's a monthly symposium series that I host where we bring in amazing speakers. Like last month, I brought in this awesome dude who was a product guru at Electronic Arts. And actually we're gonna be posting all this content. Electronic Arts, he built Pandora's user experience, which was the first online internet streaming radio service. And he built the user experience for Alexa, Amazon's Alexa. And then he and I were working with this small company here in Santa Cruz, and he built this framework to simulate a product without having to write one line of code. And he basically he did a kind of 2 control groups. He used like Google Forms, and it was amazing like what he was able to do. So we're going to be continuously sharing tons of information. I'm very active on the platform, so I love interacting with students. If you have questions on product ideas, I've done everything from term sheets to valuation model. Like, I'm incredibly deeply steeped in the entrepreneurial landscape here in Silicon Valley. And we'll be adding other mentors and just lots of rich content and speaking engagements and opportunities for you to ask questions and get those answered. So what I'm looking to do really is expand entrepreneurial learning And I want to find a way so that you are not constrained by what's in your course catalog and just by only being able to work with instructors at your home university. I want to crowdsource entrepreneurship. I want to expand this in a massive way.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so like this is opportunities to learn about entrepreneurship. How are we going to go about like how to have a business like under like an LLC account and how we go about it? Because in coding, certain things you can't steal people's stuff. You can get like sued and stuff. How we go about avoiding certain issues like that from your opportunity?
Yeah, I'll be bringing on. So one, I'm going to put a Ask Me Anything channel up, and so if I don't know the answer, I have a massive network. Like if you go look at my LinkedIn profile, I have well over 14,000 LinkedIn connections. I'm just deeply connected into a massive network. So I've got deep colleagues that are legal experts in this area. So that's the goal, is that as you're asking these questions, I'm able to, or the network's able to get those answers and be the best resource for you, because it's tough right now. There's, stuff's not cataloged right, even doing searches online. And my goal here is just is again, have a concentration of students that are intellectually curious, and build out our Discord platform with some of the world's best networks, world's best venture capitalists, legal minds, and the list goes on and on.
Hello, Toby. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for your time. And I wanted to ask, because I'm just trying to build off of what Kevin was saying. I'm currently a lead for the Spark Dev program here at FIU. And that's a program where we get an idea and we try and develop the idea in about, I think it's like 9 weeks that we have. And currently I'm working on creating reverse vending machines and implementing them at FIU. So like the idea would be to put an empty bottle into the machine and get rewarded through a mobile application. So our goal would be to, I know that you said that there's like a lot of like structural problems that we're like facing right now and everything like that. And although I think you're referring to more like of a systematic problem that we have.
I am.
Yeah. I believe as a civil engineer, I think that we have a lot of problems like in the construction sector of like this country. So we're trying to get this plastic and put it back into like the infrastructure through concrete or creating plastic bricks from recycled material. And so obviously I'm really, really pumped about this whole program and like this project that we're undertaking right now. But my question to you would be, obviously, because you're hosting all these entrepreneurship programs, is how do I get people to activate that gamma state that you were talking about, that that state of flow? Because I just want my how do I say it, my team to work as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. So here, get on Discord, drop me a DM, and I'll maybe we can set up a separate call, or I'll also start to point you in the direction. I believe on there's a nature of consciousness channel that I created. We used to be on Slack, but Slack really sucked. Discord's way better. So we just literally migrated everything off of Slack to Discord this week. And we've had more engagement in 1 week than we've had in 6 months on Slack. So, but I have, I'm heavily tuned into some of the, greatest philosophers. I post a lot of work from, and I just think I've been able to curate some of the very best content. And there's a lot of, I think, guidance and help that I can point you in that direction, because it's so easy to get, caught into linear thinking. And it's really here's what Elon values most. He values two things. He values when it is incredibly difficult to work for, but he is completely a non-linear thinker and doesn't want people that are coming with linear thinking. Do your homework, and I want you to be a creative thinker. If you can't be a creative thinker, you're not going to work there much longer. And two, great execution. Like, you got to be an animal when it comes to execution, getting stuff done. But my point was on that yes, this is really more at an institutional, systematic level. And the best way to change all of that is by having you either joining or starting new companies. This is a generational issue. But I just believe in thinking strategically And my belief is that, you know, more knowledge that I can funnel into groups like you that expand your thinking, that connect you with other resources and other thinking, that's part of the issue. Because right now, colleges are also, there's dogma there, right? All these departments are fighting for limited budgets. They don't want to try anything new. They're not really there to serve students. And again, like the way schools are run, they were run that way 100 years ago, 50 years ago. And it seems to me crazy that one course catalog and a finite set of instructors can deliver a rich learning experience for you. They can't. So we should be thinking on a much more macro level, right? And I love the fact of what your Spark project is. I'm on the board of a really cool company that has found this commodity called chitin. It's a biodegradable material that's harvested largely from shrimp and shellfish. And they've been able to synthesize styrofoam, polystyrene, which takes 400 to 500 years to degrade on landfill. And we've worked through how to use injection molding with this stuff, and extrusion. And we're going to be signing Vizio. So when you buy a TV, instead of all this styrofoam in it, it'll have this cruise foam material in it that you could put in your garden, and it'll degrade in 5 or 6 months instead of 500 or 600 years.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome, really. And thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts, comments? I know I just unloaded a ton on you guys. Why don't we do this? Why don't you have a chance to digest this? I don't know if this program or just getting a chapter set up is of interest. Would love to do that. And like I said, this is, even if, you know, the GetVirtual program in its form doesn't take shape there, I hope you're always welcome to Discord. Feel free to send the link out and invite any of your friends. That's really going to be the platform for really expanding entrepreneurial learning, and hopefully being able to have experts on there that can answer questions, point you in the right direction, and, you know, be a hopefully an invaluable entrepreneurship resource. Anything else? Don't be bashful.
I would love to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
In regard to, you were talking about Patagonia, and I gotta say, I love Patagonia, their model. I've heard the story like through a podcast where the owner, he came in and talked about it, and he spoke about something where I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like the tide rule or something like that, where essentially when the tide comes in, he wants all his workers to go surf.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, because they were based in Ventura. They might still be. Yeah, I read that same article, and it was basically like, hey, I just care about you getting your work done, because so many companies, you know, are all about showing your face, looking like you're working 12 hours a day. It's like, I don't care if you get your job done in an hour. Awesome. I don't care, right? And that's the right philosophy to have. And, you know, one of the things that COVID taught us is that you're going to see, that's why the market's kind of blown up right now, because there's a paradigm shift that's occurring. Consumer buying behavior is changing radically to a much more digital format. So while this great change is happening, it's going to be massively structural. Like, businesses have figured out they don't have to have employees come into the office. You can actually work remotely. You can actually get stuff done. So there's going to be, you know, an entirely new host of innovations and, you know, complete kind of changing of the guard as a post-pandemic new economy begins to emerge. And we're going to stay in a renaissance period for at least a decade. There's insane amounts of venture capital money flowing into venture capital firms. There's also a new structure that I'm super excited about, because VCs have held a stranglehold on cherry picking only certain startups to invest in. It's called crowdfunding, and this allows, now, before you had to be what's called a qualified investor to be invest in a venture capital fund, and that law has been changed, and now virtually anyone can invest in a venture through a crowdfunding mechanism. WeFunder is one of the largest platforms to do that, where you just circumvent the entire bullshit venture capital community. So 2019, $134 billion of money went into venture capital. 17 billion of that was through crowdfunding. And I suspect it's just going to grow radically over time. Any other questions?
I just want to say thank you once again, Toby, for coming on and speaking. I learned a lot, and it clarified a lot of the things I've already been researching. I know, for example, you mentioned creative mind as in like trying to find different types of disciplines. And I've noticed that when I try doing that, a lot of disciplines actually cross with one another. And so it really helps a lot in benefiting and coming up with new ideas. So recently I was doing that with 3D modeling, for example, and it's helped me a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because, you know, the thing that most people kind of miss is like, oh, I want to, you know, this is my goal, this is my objective. And like what you'll find as time goes on is that the real prize is the journey. It's the experience that you have in life. That's the magic of life. And the other, if you have a chance, and I'll post it on Discord, I was able to do an interview with one of my speakers at Stanford, a guy by the name of Ethan Brown. He created Beyond Meat. And it's an amazing product. His story is so epic. And what he talked about, which is that everyone thinks like, oh, this, you know, like Snapchat just came out of nowhere. The real truth of the matter is that entrepreneurship is a process. And Ethan does an insane job of articulating, going back to his childhood, how that began to shape him to where he got from that point to where he became the CEO and founder of Beyond Meat. And that's the point with life and success. The formula, like what really is the secret ingredient to success, it's really grit. How bad it's not EQ, it's not IQ. How bad do you want it, and how hard are you willing to work for that? And what happens is that success comes in micro steps. It doesn't feel that way, but as you're doing the right things, you're expanding, you're learning, you're intellectually curious, you're experimenting, you're failing, you're trying to build a better version of yourself. And as that begins to develop, that's what ends up, that's the pieces of the puzzle that end up creating magic and create this flywheel effect, because you've got yourself into a good habit of not letting people that aren't there to support you, that are just there to take you down. You've got to discard that. And most people say it's like, oh, I don't have time. Yeah, there's like, I haven't found a way to manufacture more time. What I did find a way to do though, is be more judicious with my time and use my time in a better way that I get more ROI out of that. And a lot of that comes from, as I said, when you literally find yourself doing the same thing, you're really shortchanging yourself. And the challenge is like, how much time can you spend out over your skis? That's where growth comes from. And my saying for 2021 is get comfortable being uncomfortable. And so I try to challenge myself into stuff that maybe I'm not good at. I might find like, hey, I failed at this, but like I learned. I met some people like, you know, one of the other crazy ass things I'm doing, I'm doing some online didgeridoo lessons. And like, I'm not that good at it right now, but it's actually amazing for your lungs. It's amazing and there's all these other side benefits of learning to play this cool hippie didgeridoo instrument, right? So, but my point being is I do look at and say, okay, where am I applying myself? What are the activities that I'm doing? And even today, right? Like this is something, and even when I started GetVirtual, it was just an idea. I could have said, oh, I got to wait. I got to get this business plan together. I got to do all these things. It's like, F that. Like I'm starting it. It's not going to be perfect. And it wasn't. You know, the early stages and, you know, there was an insane amount of work and we're not even a year old yet. You know, 70 businesses done, 100 students, and we're going to be a year old on May 1st, right? But it was that point to put myself out there, not be afraid to fail. And because I believe like this would be a cool program, I believe students would learn, and I believe it could do something pretty awesome, right? So that's the point, is that value your time, because the one thing I do know in life, in this human existence, is that there's a beginning and a middle and end to your human body. That's it. Like you don't get it back. If you smash your car, you can take it to the auto body shop. You know, if you break your iPhone, you can go get a new one. You can't get time back. But what you can do is focus on, okay, am I putting myself out there? Am I expanding? Am I meeting new people? Have I broadened out my reading, right? And one of the other things that I always hated, absolutely couldn't stand, philosophy and science in school. And then most recently, I've been so enthralled with modern day philosophy, going back, listening to Ram Dass and Terence McKenna and people like Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, Richard Dawkins, amazing people that bring just such unique perspectives into the world. and really end up reprogramming your brain, right? And the other area that I've been so fascinated with is looking at like Einstein's theory of relativity, and then how that just completely does not mesh with quantum mechanics. Like at the subatomic level, the fact that particles can be in the same state at the same time. Particles can transition from particle to energy based on if someone's viewing that. Entanglement, where one particle from somewhere has an effect on a particle somewhere else. Like that to me is like amazing. Like the fact that no one knows what consciousness is, where it exists. What I do know that is artificial intelligence and robotics and machine learning is going to take away a lot of jobs. What will never, ever be taken away by a computer is human creativity. That's your magic. That's your power, right? And the more that you acclimate with that, and if you find yourself following someone's footsteps, you're probably not on the right path. And when people are telling you that that's a crazy idea, that's a signal it's probably a good idea, right? Because they don't see what you see. And then even though if it doesn't work, like the fact that you're going through this program and trying to recycle plastic, even if it goes nowhere, like you're going to learn a ton. You're getting more unique data points in your consciousness. That's where creativity comes from. And the more you can pack in there, and that's where the magic of life really comes from, right? So I love the vibe on this call, and thank you guys, because there'd be a lot of stuff that you could be doing. I don't know if it's spring break right now, partying or something, but the fact that you're in this call, taking your time, I'm super appreciative of that you were interested in learning and listening and learning about something new that may or may not work for you.
No problem, man. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everything.
All right, you guys, look forward to reconnecting with you. We'll figure out where this goes, if at all. Welcome to Discord, and I look forward to getting to know all of you better. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Have a great
All
weekend.
right, guys. Take care.
Thank you.